My name's Sean Johnson. I'm the athletics director here at Angelo State, and welcome to Angelo State's version of March Madness. We appreciate everybody being here. Before we get started, this is a very exciting day in the next chapter of Angelo State Ram basketball history. But before we get started, introducing our new head coach, I'd like to introduce my boss and our leader, the president of Angelo State University, Dr. Brian May.
Well, thank you, Sean. I know I'm not the featured speaker here today, so I won't take too long. One thing I want to tell you is that I'm very excited about what's going to take place. Here at Angelo State, we strive for two main things: success in the classroom and success in competition. And it's Angelo State's responsibility to provide our athletes and our coaches the resources, both in scholarship and in facilities, to the best we can, or as much as NCAA will allow. And I want you to know that we take that very seriously, and we are going to see to it that that's done that way from now on. I don't have to put any pressure on coaches. They put a lot of pressure on themselves. But when we look at basketball, and what we have here is one of the greatest facilities in the country for Division II. And we owe that to the history that has started here with Phil George and Ed Messbarger, and then Jerry Vandegrift developing the Janelle Center. It's a great venue, and we want and need to make sure that that center is packed every time we have a basketball game. The way you do that is you start with the funding, but you also collect good students, good athletes, and good coaches. And we have a lot of them here, and we're going to add to it today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. May. There's some people that I would like to thank. I'd like to thank everybody in this room. This is a great crowd, and I appreciate everybody being here. I don't want to introduce too many people because then I'll forget somebody and somebody will probably get mad at me. But there's one person I want to introduce, and he has really been an integral part of Angelo State basketball. He was here when I was here 20 years ago, and I owe a lot to him, and that's our former head coach, Ed Messbarger, in the back there. Thank you, Coach. And you can tell he's a coach. He's a smart guy because he's standing between two guys that are about 6'8", so he has not lost his touch. Certainly, this search, honestly, it was a hard search and it was an easy search. It was an easy search because we have great things to sell here at Angelo State. We have the best Division II facility in the country. We have a great university. We have a great city. We have a great leader in Dr. May. I'm very appreciative of him. I want to thank Dr. John Wegner, who's our NCAA rep, was also instrumental in helping us pick our new head coach. I want to thank my wife, Marcia, who I'm kind of difficult to deal with most of the time, the last few weeks probably more so than normal, so I want to thank her for putting up with me. I want to thank the staff, the Angelo State athletic staff, our coaches, our administrative staff. They've done a great job in helping us with this process, and they've set the bar very high for myself and all the other coaches here at ASU. I want to thank Alex Wharton, our graduate assistant. He's stepped in and really done a great job here and kind of in the interim of keeping things together and keeping us on the right track. So I want to thank Alex. And most of all, I want to thank our student athletes, our men's basketball student athletes. When there's a change made, the focus is really a lot on who the next coach is going to be. And I'm not saying that that's not important. But I'll tell you what's really important are the young men sitting right over here. They're going through a very tough time right now, a very tough transition. I think sometimes that gets lost in all the hype and who's going to be the next head coach and all the talk. And the most important people in this room are our student athletes, so I want to thank them for their patience. People were asking me, as you can imagine, I got a lot of phone calls. I became much more popular than I ever thought I would be. But really, it was about how popular Angelo State is, not how popular I am. And people would ask me, what are you looking for in a head coach? Well, I'm like every athletic director. I want it all. I want somebody who's going to recruit the best student athletes. I want somebody to make sure that when we get those student athletes here on campus that they graduate. I want to make sure that we compete for championships every single year. I want us to give back to the community, and I want us to put people in the stands, just like Dr. May said. think most impressive about our next head coach is he has all those qualities and has achieved all those things already. And he's done it at many different levels of basketball. And I think that's what really has separated him from the other candidates from the job. And he also sat beside one of the greatest coaches and teachers of basketball in the history of the game, and Coach Bob Knight. So basically, we've got the total package. And our next head coach is a guy I think that can bring it all together and take us to the place we want to be every year, and that's competing for championships. And I'd like to introduce our new head coach, Mr. Chris Beard.
Man, what a turnout. Thank you for coming. I'm excited. One thing about me, and you'll quickly learn, there's some things I need to work on, but one thing that I don't need to work on that I think I'm really good at is I have great enthusiasm. And I don't think anything good can happen without enthusiasm. So, I mean, I am excited to be here today, and just seeing all y'all here and the turnout just makes me even more excited. So, I've been to a few of these press conferences over the year, and it's almost like somebody died or something. So I say let's have some fun here in the next 10, 15 minutes, because I'm really excited to be here and passionate about this. Thank you for coming. I see a lot of familiar faces. I see high school coaching friends of mine. I see coaching legends that Sean's already referred to. I see people that I know in the past that I'm looking forward to reconnecting to. And I see a lot of people that I can't wait to get to meet and learn to know better and develop a relationship with. So I'm excited to get here. My wife and my 3 daughters are excited as well. Unfortunately, they couldn't be here today. The girls are in school, and this happened kind of quick, but I know they're looking forward to getting down here to San Angelo and meeting all of you and reconnecting with old friends just like I am. I wish my wife was here for a lot of reasons, but the main reason is this. I know today people expect me to talk a lot about recruiting. Everybody wants to talk about recruiting because that may be the most important thing in college basketball. And I'll have to answer questions today, but if my wife was here, I wouldn't have to answer any questions about recruiting because you'll know that I can recruit. Because you look at me, look at this, and when you see my wife, you'll know that guy can recruit. So remember that. You know, you can Google her name, Leslie Beard, today and look at it, and seriously, when you meet her, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. But our family can't wait to get here to San Angelo and get to work. First of all, some thank yous that are very important to me, if you'll just give me a few minutes. First, I want to thank Dr. May and Sean. From the very first part of this process, I felt very, very comfortable. This is a place I knew I wanted to be the first time I talked to both of you. And we share the same vision. We have a vision here to graduate every student athlete. We have a vision here to win basketball games, win championships. We have a vision here for the basketball team to not just be a basketball team, but to be a part of the community and to be a part of the university. And so I'm ready to get to work with you guys, and I won't let you down. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Also, if you'll just give me one favor and let me thank one more group of people before we get started on talking about here at Angelo State. I want to thank everybody at McMurray University in Abilene, Texas, the place where I coached last year. I want to thank Ron Holmes, the athletic director there that hired me, and Dr. John Russell, the president. More than anything, I want to thank the team, the players that we coached last year. It was a difficult day yesterday telling those players and managers and SIDs and support staff and ladies in the dining hall, all the people across McMurray. It was a difficult day saying goodbye, and I'll never forget my experience there, and I'll always be a big, big fan and supporter of McMurray University. That being said, yesterday being a difficult day to say goodbye, this decision to take this job was an easy decision, not difficult at all. I've never been more excited about an opportunity in my coaching career. I just can't wait to get to work. People say, why Angelo State? I mean, very, very easy for me to answer. Number one, it's a great academic institution. I'm familiar with the Texas Tech system, having a chance to coach there many years. I'm familiar with Angelo State. I'm from Texas. I've coached in this area before. This is a great academic institution. These players, when you get a degree from this school, it means something. It can help you in life. There's a lot of good people in this part of the country, especially in San Angelo, Texas. So this is going to be an easy sell academically. Number two, the success of basketball here in the past. As a coach, when you look for jobs, you say, well, has it ever been done there before? And absolutely, it's been done here. I'm following some big, big footsteps, a challenge that won't be easy, but a challenge I'm ready to accept. But when you talk about Coach George and Coach Messbarger, please stay after this, Coach. I want to shake your hand. I was an assistant in this conference in the 90s, and so I know all about your teams, Coach. You beat us 8-12, I think. We couldn't score on you in the last 4 minutes of the game. So I can't wait to reconnect with you and have a relationship with you. But Coach George and Coach Messbarger and Coach Esposito had great teams here. And lastly, I want to recognize Coach Reich, Fred, the last coach who was here. Fred did a lot of really good things. I'm sure many of you in this room will share my view that there's not a better human being than Fred Reich. And this job, a lot of things will already be in place. I know we have a lot of talented players, and I know we've got a lot of character people, and there's a lot of good things in place because of the person and coach that Fred is. And then lastly, why this is such a great job, great academically, great tradition, but San Angelo, Texas. I mean, what a place to live. I love country music. I can get a little of that here, Sean. I love Mexican food, as you can tell. I need to drop a few, but Dr. May says it's the best Mexican food in Texas. I love good people that shake hands and it means something and look people in the eye when you tell the truth. I mean, I love this part of the state, and I can't wait to live in San Angelo, Texas. Not only live here, but be a part of the community. So as difficult as it was yesterday to tell a great team goodbye, it's very, very easy and just awesome to be here today, and I'm so excited. Just briefly, people want to know about the coaching philosophy anytime there's a new coach. My coaching philosophy is all about the players. It's all about the players. There would be no coaches if there weren't players. There would be no colleges if there weren't students. So it's all about the players, and I can't wait to get to work with you guys. I've already had a chance to talk to these guys. I've reached out to each of them. And I can't wait to build a relationship. I can't wait to hear what your goals are and see if we can't get it done together. To this point, we've talked, but what I'm really looking forward to in the next day, week, is to listen. As coaches, we all talk, but good coaches listen, and I want to listen to you. I want to hear about where you've been and where you want to go, and then we're going to jump on this train together, and we're going to make it happen. But my coaching philosophy is all about the players. And I'll do everything I can every day when I wake up to the time I finally lay it down to make sure you guys succeed academically, socially, and on the basketball floor. And with players in mind, people always say, well, what kind of players do you like, Coach? I like players that love basketball. And all players like basketball, but I love players that love basketball because I love it. I've never worked a day in my life. I'm the luckiest guy in this room. And you coaches in here know what I mean. I don't view coaching as a profession. This isn't a job to me. I love it. I would do this for free, but I'm glad I've already signed the contract because I've got to make a little money here. But basketball is not a job for me. Basketball is a life, and I love it. And I want players that love basketball. If you love basketball, you work on it every day, whether it's in season or out of season. And those are the kind of players we'll recruit. We'll recruit guys that love basketball. Number two, and equally important, really number one, 1A, 1B. I want guys that are serious about being student athletes. Every basketball player and athlete across the country will tell you, well, I want my degree, but some don't. We're going to have a team full here where every guy from 1 to 14 or 15 is serious about getting a degree. A guy that wants a degree, a guy that understands that, a guy that has a passion. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to have a team full of 4.0 guys. Sean, that's okay, right? But we're going to have some guys that want to go to class and want to get a degree. Look, you don't go to college to play basketball. You go to college and play basketball. And there's a big difference. So we're going to have serious student athletes here, guys that want to get an education and understand how important that is, and guys that love basketball. I used to tell recruits and stuff, I want guys with a PhD. I want players with a PhD. Of course, half the guys just get up and leave the room. From what I've seen from some of you guys' transcripts, we've got a lot of work to do before we get to a PhD. But what I mean by that is poor, hungry, and driven. I want guys that wake up every day and scrap for everything they want. And when success comes, you know how to be even more successful. And when tough times come, you know how to fight. And I want guys that are hungry, that wake up every day and want it, and guys that are driven, guys that are goal-oriented. So that's the kind of players that we'll recruit here to Angelo State, and I can't wait to get going. Recruiting will always be the bloodline of our program. Listen, the best high school coaches in the country, the best junior college coaches in the country, the best grassroots AAU basketball coaches in the country are in the state of Texas. Texas is well known for its football. Well, why it should be. It should be. I love football. Coach, I'll be your biggest fan. I don't know much about offense, but I got a few views on defense and special teams. But basketball in Texas is huge. Another reason why this is a great job. Another reason why this is a job I wanted. Another reason why this is an easy decision to come to St. Angelo. It's because of the recruiting background right here in this part of the country. And so recruiting will be very, very important to us. Lastly, before I'll take questions, will be everybody wants to know about expectations and goals. And Dr. May said it best. Give me the highest expectation and goal, because I promise you, mine's higher. Mine's higher. My goal is very simple. You know, I want to win every basketball game I coach. And I want players that want to win every basketball game you play in. Why would you do any different? When I was in junior high, in 7th grade, playing junior high football, I will never forget being in a locker room, and about 2 games in the season, my coach came in, and he was kind of setting up the next few weeks of competition. He talked about a couple of games we had at home and a couple of games we had on the road, some rival games. And he said, hey guys, we got to win 2 of these next 4, and we really got to win the home games and try to steal one on the road. And at 12 years old or whatever I was, and I used to have a problem with this, I still do, but I'm really working on it, but I speak my mind. At 12 years old, I just stood up and I said, Coach, that's ridiculous. We got to try to win them all. And then the next day, I learned something about discipline and getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and running, because you're not supposed to talk back to your coach. But fellas, if you ever say anything about trying to win every game, then I'll never run you at 6 o'clock in the morning, because I believe that. We're going to try to win every game. That's what we do. That's what you do as a competitor. And with this school, with this background and this facility, that should be the goal. And then when you do win every game, then everything else works itself out. So I am so pleased to be here today. Thank you so much for the great turnout. And at this time, I'll answer any question that somebody might have.
Hey, Coach, I was wondering what your thoughts are on the young roster that you're inheriting.
I like these players. I've had a chance in the last 48 hours to watch a lot of Angelo State's games from last year. I've already publicly said what I think of Fred, so I know there's some talent on this roster. I'm just looking forward to getting on the court as soon as possible. But it'll start with these players. And we got a lot to do in the next day, week, month. But nothing is more important than the players that were here last year. Getting to know them, building a relationship, and making sure that they fit in with what we're doing here leading forward.
What kind of style do you think fans can expect from you? Do you like to play up-tempo, or are you more of a half-court?
Yeah. I like to win. So if we got to walk it up the court and throw it into a big 7-footer every possession and shoot in the last possession, that's what we'll do, because I want to win. But if we can get some athletes here and play a faster game, that's what we'll do. But no, seriously, I understand the question. Our style of play. And our style of play will always start on the defensive end. You know, I had the privilege and honor to work with, in my opinion, who I think is the best basketball coach in the history of the game, arguably so, I'm biased, and Coach Knight. And our good teams at Texas Tech always started with defense. The teams I've been fortunate enough to coach as a head coach have always been defensive-minded teams. So we're going to play defense. And that starts in the recruiting process. You know, when I call kids, we tell the truth. You know, we look eye to eye. Like I told you guys the other day, we tell the truth. And we're going to play defense. We're going to guard. And if you don't want to play defense, this probably won't be the program for you. But if you want to win, you play defense. But we're going to guard. I hate giving up layups. I hate fouling. I mean, we're going to try to guard. Then on the offensive end, we're going to try to play a system that fits our talent. I really believe in unselfish offense, sharing the ball. I like a balanced team. I don't want one guy scoring 30 and everybody else waiting in line for 6. You know, I want a balanced team where guys score. I believe in, you know, recruiting talented players and giving them freedom to play the game. I like guys that can make plays, not guys that can remember and run plays. As a coach, I want to teach you how to play the game. I don't want to teach you a bunch of plays. We're not a team that'll come down and say 4 or red or ram. We're a team that'll come down and play the game based on the way we've been taught.
Coach, you said you looked at some of the tape from players last year's games. What would you say was the first thing you're going to be working on when you start
Well, I think that would be the same whether I had watched tape or hadn't, or whatever new situation you come into. You know, the first thing is all about the players. I got to try to develop a relationship with these guys as quick as I can, but at the same time, we've got to get out recruiting because we know this roster needs more talent and these guys need help to win. So we'll be real busy building relationships with the current players and getting on the recruiting trail and getting the type of student athlete that we need to not only win in the Lone Star Conference, which in my opinion is one of the best leagues in the country, but also to win on the national level because that's what we're here to do.
Hey, Coach, can you talk about your time at Tech and at UT and just getting to learn under coaches like, Rick Barnes and Bobby Knight and just what that experience was like?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. I've been with some great coaches, from Tom Penders to Danny Casper to Coach Knight to Vic Trilly to Shannon Hayes, guys that have really helped me. I've been fortunate. You know, as a head coach, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. Players, we've talked about a lot today. Assistant coaches, we're going to have the best assistant coaching staff in the country. Man, Coach, that's high standards. I know it is, but we are. We're going to get some guys in here that care about the players. We're going to get guys in here as assistants that can both coach the game and recruit. There's a difference. In today's day with the internet and all this, everybody wants to talk about the recruiting, but I want guys that can do both. I want guys that can coach and teach and recruit, and so we'll do all that. But certainly the experience of working with Coach Knight at Texas Tech was a chance in a lifetime. One of the best teachers of the game, a guy with high character, and probably the thing that I'm most proud of being associated with Coach is in all of his years of basketball, not one NCAA violation. I mean, not even close. And that's the way we'll do it here at Angelo State. And President May and Sean made that very clear early in the process. And again, we share the same vision. We're going to win here, and we're going to win. But we're going to graduate kids, and we're going to do it the right way. We're going to follow the rules, and that'll bring even more satisfaction when we're cutting down the nets one day, knowing that we did it the right way. Any other questions? Again, thank you very, very much for being here. I can't wait to reconnect with some of you that I've known in the past and get to know everybody else. But I'm really excited about the challenge. And again, this isn't Angelo State's basketball team or my basketball team or the players. This is the community, the community's team, the university's team, and we just want to be one small part of a great university and a great town. And so please come by. Our door is always open, full access. Our practices will be open. Our office doors will be open. So please come by. I can't wait to meet you. Thank you very much.